Yesterday and today were really good tangible signs of progress for the nursery makeover. Yesterday I installed this temporary holding area, and today I moved all the plants out of the existing nursery into this spot with some lessons learned along the way, and that's what we're looking at today. All right, so the temporary holding area is done and ready for the plants to move in, so that means moving day. It's a hot, muggy day, but today's the day and I'm gonna get it done. Just a recap though on what's going on here as far as what I used. I used Livestock panels. They're about $30 each. Now total time invested in start to finish on this, once I got all the supplies, was about 3 hours. It's very awkward when you're doing it by yourself, but it's doable. So if you can get help and you decide to ever do this, it helps to have help. I bought more Livestock panels. I had the T-post, and I also had this roll of fencing, this 4-foot tall roll of fencing that goes along the bottom. And again, that's to keep the smaller critters out, while I think elevating the Livestock panel, which without help is only about less than 5 feet tall. So I needed extra height, mounted it to the T-post with zip ties. Not the best long-term solution, but it'll do for a few weeks. And then I put the 4-foot fencing roll at the base to fill up that space and to keep the smaller critters out at the bottom. So I think all said it's gonna work. As far as the location of this, it's mostly dappled shade. So it's in my woodland area, which is gonna be a woodland garden in the future, but it gets some dappled light throughout the day. But on the front side of this, it gets more direct light as the sun is coming up. So I'll put my sun-loving plants in the front side and the shade lovers towards the back. But everything's coming out of the main nursery area this morning, and we're gonna move it all in here right now. So it's time to get busy. All right, so the first order of business is to get the potting benches back down from what I put up last night, but that was there for deer protection. It worked. So now I need to clear the way and get to those plants. So I've got a few hours of work ahead of me, so let's do it. These homemade potting benches are a valuable addition to any nursery setup. This large gorilla cart is a staple around the garden and nursery. Smaller garden carts like these, which I got at Harbor Freight for about $100 each, are a great way to move 5 nursery trays at a time. All right, so let's check in. I am 20% at the most done, but clearly it's time for a water break, which sounds good to me, but I hate to stop the momentum, but we'll pick back up. But what I want you to just notice is just how muddy and nasty this is right here. It's just gross, and it's dangerous too, slipping all over the place. And that's one of the main reasons I want to get this place cleaned up. So there's your 20% check-in. Water time, and let's get back to work. The garden carts also work well for hauling larger containers, but having options on what to use makes hauling flats, containers, mulch, soil, and more much easier. These collapsible crates are great at keeping groups of plants together, especially when you need to move them all at once, and when not at use, they're easy to store. Oh, hey Larry, you want to help me get this out? It's really rooted in. Oh my gosh, what a mess. At least the mud. But this part looks a lot better right now, but I'm going to call it a wrap for this part of the project. I think 3.5 hours, maybe 4. I'm 95%, maybe more than that done. The only thing remaining at this point, some fig cuttings that have now become trees, and a couple buckeyes that are very well rooted in. It's going to take some extra work, and I don't really have the energy left to take that on right now, but I'll get to it today, later on, and check this off. And it's a big check mark and one I'm glad to move on from. Seeing this empty and the staging area full, I've been looking forward to that for a long time. And by the way, I couldn't be any wetter than if I jumped in the deep end of a pool, but totally worth it.